Cool. All right, team, I'm ready. Are you ready? Thanks. Right. One last point. So we go back to our checklist. We talked about merit and using the data. Make sure, like I said, I should have probably not stopped the recording at that point. Anyway, it's fine. Not the end of the world. All right, I'm ready. Microbes. Move this out of the way. All right, so we have finished up talking about this bit here. Data. So just keep in mind that the data can be general. So I've ticked that off our to-do list. The last thing I want us to do is talk about the excellence, and then you guys can have all the remaining sessions just to tidy up your internals. So this one here is our only excellence point, and I found a lot of people were struggling with that one, and that one is the interconnectedness between the pathogen and the human body. So let me just switch to the document camera so we can talk about what we are thinking about as achieve merit and excellence. So, what kind of color I want. Okay. So we have the human body. And we have a pathogen. Now we are thinking about the human body as if it is an environment, which it is. Okay? Now the human body has certain conditions that will affect the pathogen. So it has biotic factors, such as our immune system, and abiotic factors, such as temperature, that affect the pathogen. All right? Now, that's going to influence the pathogen's life process. Say, for example, reproduction. Here's someone coming down the steps for our class. All right? Being able to make this link.
So in the next 5 minutes, that we'll be doing a reboot on our computer system, so no one will have access to the internet. And it will be back up and running 5 minutes afterwards. That's the server is going down, and we'll need to do a reboot in 5 minutes.
Yeah. All right, can I keep going?
Yep.
Okay. I should be okay because this is not relying on the internet. So, but when you guys start working, you might have a problem. All right. So, human body influences the life processes. So, talking about how this affects that is the merit requirement. All right. Now, a lot of you guys didn't meet that merit requirement because you didn't explain. You need to explain. Okay? The thing to also keep in mind is that the pathogen is going to be doing stuff, and that's going to then feed back to the human body. That's the interconnectedness. So the life process of the pathogen changes its environment. All right, so the pathogen is going to be doing things in order for it to survive, and when it does those things, it's changing the environment around it. Are we okay with that so far? The idea then in that case is when we're trying to unpack this, the way you're really basically trying to unpack it is you're trying to explain why the pathogen is making humans sick in relation to how they've changed the environment. With linkage to the change that it makes to the environment. All right. Going in that reverse direction, that is the excellence. You're listening very interested, Sarah. You're planning to do this one. You just find it interesting. It is interesting. It's probably one of my favorite topics. All right. Are we okay with that so far? All right. Keep going. I will scan this. It is recording, so you don't have the stress. This or take photos. All right. Keep going. Can I move it? No, not yet. Okay. I'll give you a second. Can't be bothered writing. I'm just going to take a photo of it. It is going to get scanned. It's going to be put on Google Classroom. Or not Google Classroom, on the Google site. It just takes me a day or two. But you guys have been pretty good about emailing me like, this, the notes. I want the notes. Where are the notes? Trying to decide if I want a new piece of paper. I think I want a new piece of paper. Yes, I do.
Bye.
I'll do the example with cancer because you guys can't write up about cancer anyway because it's not a pathogen, but it does follow similar things.
So.
Cancer. All right, move it. Ready? Okay. So let me give you guys cancer as the example because cancer you guys definitely cannot write about for your assessment, and thus it is fair game for me to give it. So first off, we're thinking about the human body. AKA the environment. Okay? Our pathogen is going to be cancer cells. Okay? One of the big factors in cancer cells' life process that it wants to carry out is reproduction. So what happens with why cells become cancer cells is cancer cells mutate, which again, mutation can be considered a life process. And when they mutate, they become unable to turn off the replication. So most of our cells know when to turn on and off replication. They, like, for example, if I cut my arm, I actually have a scratch on here from the kitten from the other week. My finger was cut by the kitten, and I needed to grow new skin cells. So it activated my skin cells to tell my skin cells, you need to replicate right now to fix the wound. Once I fix the wound, the replication stops. So that's how healthy cells are supposed to operate. Cancer cells don't operate that way. Cancer cells mutate, and when they mutate, they do not stop replication. And they acquire a mutation that keeps them replicating. Non-stop. So that's my life process I'm talking about, mutation and replication. Are you okay with that so far? All right. In order to replicate, they're going to need resources and energy. So in order to replicate, they need nutrients and O2. So that's for them to do respiration. So you see, so you see, I've hit multiple life process points. You guys see what I'm talking about? Hopefully, multiple life process points. So mutation is a life process that happens whenever we're replicating any DNA. So mutation, replication, which is reproduction. We see nutrients, so the requirement for nutrients, and we see respiration. So lots of life processes are being talked about. It is okay if you talk about more than one life process. Okay? So, backtracking to the human body and what the human body provides things such as the nutrients required for the cancer cells to reproduce. So, if we talk about how this is affecting this, the human body provides nutrients and oxygen. So that's how the environment provides stuff. And linking those two together. Right. Are we okay with that? Now, there's obviously other things you can write about how the human body provides things for cancer cells. Like, for example, they obviously want to grow at an optimal temperature, again, because of the rate of reactions and how our enzymes function, et cetera, et cetera. But you need to explain to me why those cancer cells need to live in the human body. Well, your pathogen needs to live in the human body. All right. This is not written up to the excellence level. I'm just trying to show you the linkages. All right. The back linkage, then how do cancer cells affect the human body, is that cancer cells starve the healthy cells. So cancer cells use up all the nutrients. Starving the healthy cells. So that is how it's changing the environment. So because the cancer cells are reproducing and replicating uncontrollably, they need a lot of energy to do that. And since they are using up all the nutrients to then make that energy, the other cells don't have it available to them. So they starve and they die. And that's how you get the symptoms you get with cancer. So that's the feedback loop. Does that make sense? All right. So that's what you need to think about for the excellence. So think about how your pathogen is making people sick. Do not write about the symptoms. Explain to me how the symptoms occur. All right. Which cells are they killing? That's going to be basically a big question. So when we're thinking about this guy here and why they make people sick, you want to be thinking about things about which cells are they killing. Why? So, for example, are they infecting those cells and causing those cells to burst open and die? Are they starving the cells of their nutrients? That sort of stuff. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is that the immune system activation is not, it's a double-edged sword. When we activate the immune system is very good at killing things. But sometimes it will kill its own cells in the process. So some of the symptoms we get when we get sick is just the immune system responding to it. So you have to keep that in mind. The other thing is the immune system does things like heating up the body and increasing the temperature to help kill the pathogens, but our cells also don't like being at that higher temperature either. So that's why I'm saying it's a double-edged sword. Good in some ways, bad in some ways. That's why the immune system only acts very temporarily. So just acts for the period that you're sick, and then once you get better, the immune system stops. I think we actually had a lesson on the immune system, so you can watch that video again. All right, does that help with the clarifications? I see a lot of head nodding, which is good. All right, hopefully you guys have some internet now, so you guys can work on your internals and think about what needs to be fixed. Mercy. Previous page, yeah. Again, you might need to expand out your scope. Or do you want me to zoom in somewhere? Where do you want me to zoom in? This bit? Okay. So the other thing you got to think about is you might need to zoom out when you're doing your research. You might be able to find stuff specifically for your pathogen, but you also might need to go more general and talk about viruses in general or bacteria in general. Okay? You also might need to zoom out a bit and look at just general human body processes. Okay? I hope that helps clarify what you guys need to do to kind of fix your internal, because some of you guys are missing the points. All right, so my plan is, obviously you guys have a couple of minutes just to think about what you might want to do. You might want to create a to-do list of what you need to fix for your internals. And then Thursday and Friday, I'll give you class time to work on your internals. Friday will be the last day in class for you guys to work on it. I'll see how you guys are going Thursday and Friday and decide what we want to do for deadlines, because I think it's helpful to have deadlines. But I'm also very mindful that I'm generally pretty flexible on the deadlines because I'm mindful that other classes are more strict. Okay? What else did I want to say? Next week, we will start learning our external material, okay? So I've noted down what everyone wants to do. Keep in mind, I haven't been able to unenroll you. For some reason, the system's not letting me do that, so you might still be enrolled for something you're not doing. Just keep that in mind. I've also enrolled people in things just in case as well. All right? Cool. That's us. So you have 15 minutes. Hopefully the internet is working and you guys can access your work. If not, just make yourself a little to-do list on what you need to fix for your internals. Okay?